After 5.5 years of service to Bristol City and joining City at the start of the decade, Nahki Wells will be leaving Bristol City. And video I kind of didn't really particularly want to be making, but I think after, well, certainly in the last sort of few weeks, with more days and it seemed like ages since any sort of credible thing, any sort of credible information on Naki Wells' new contract situation, Naki Wells will be leaving Bristol City, and it feels a bit weird. It does feel a bit weird because we're talking about a striker who was the main guy for Bristol City for large proportions of the season, and performed really well, and did really well personally, and helped the team massively. 26 starts he got for Bristol City, 39 appearances, 10 goals for Bristol City, 4 assists, and Nahki Wells has gone from someone who sort of flattered to deceive a little bit, still producing a decent goal return, relatively, but never really sort of kicked on to the hype that was expected of him when we initially brought him in on a permanent deal that January transfer window when we were really pushing for those playoff positions. That didn't really quite happen. Nahki Wells sort of filtered down the pecking order. It kind of felt like he got a little bit lost in his City career, and there was a point where Nigel Pearson was manager. Nahki Wells really completely out the fold, training with the kids. But never, ever, ever could you question his professionalism, his attitude, his sort of commitment to Bristol City, honouring his contract, everything really, and just being a top model professional for everyone in the squad. That's particularly been evident this season, where he has just been so good and so outstanding in literally every action he's done. So I'll start this video by saying, thank you to Nahki Wells, and a massive good luck to him wherever he goes, whether that's stay in England in the Championship, whether that's take a step down to League One, to maybe a homecoming in Huddersfield or Bradford. Wherever he goes, he deserves it because he's had a brilliant first season in the second tier of English football, and at his age of 35, it feels right for him to make his own decision, just go on with it, and massive good luck to him. Let's talk about, from a Bristol City perspective, why this decision might have been made. So when Liam Manning was the manager, we he openly said that he would love to keep Nahki Wells on for season, maybe in a coaching capacity after that, whatever it is. Liam Manning made it very evident and was very honest and open with the media that he wanted to keep Nahki Wells, and with that being the case, and Nahki Wells seemingly enjoying playing regular football and seemingly enjoying working under Liam Manning, it felt like that was eventually going to develop into a new contract, and the Nahki Wells was going to stay. That's all been thrown up in the air because of Manning leaving. And the new manager, Gerhard Struber, coming in, it feels a little bit of, well, is Nahki Wells really going to fit into the new manager's style of play? Now, we know Struber wants a running, sort of high pressing, high intensity, sort of forward line, spearheaded by that main number 9. And I suppose question marks will probably ask of whether Nahki Wells could fit that situation and that particular mould of striker that Struber would want. Now, this does mean that Bristol City will now have to go into the market, whether that's a free agent market or go and pay a fee for someone, and we'll have to probably try and get another forward. Might even need a couple of forwards, a couple of new forwards to come in through the door, because there is now reduced numbers because of Nahki Wells and Seb Balmerholden leaving early in the transfer window. There is now reduced numbers, and arguably there's a severe lack of quality within the forward line, and that could have been argued even last year when Nahki Wells was sort of firing really nicely. So there are loads of question marks over what Bristol City now do. It's evident that Struber, the recruitment team, Tinian, they'll all want sort of a striker that perfectly fits Struber's sort of style of play. They want him probably to be a younger age than Naki, and again, that would have been another sort of conversation at 35 years old. Is Nahki Wells, even if he did fit into Struber's system a little bit, is he going to be able to sustain it in the longer term? Question marks over that. And yeah, they'll have been wanting to look at maybe a younger profile, and then will have been wanting to look into someone who may be younger. Again, or the obvious stuff fits into Struber's style of play. All of that, right? But what you're losing with Nahki Wells is someone who knows the football club very well, knows has been a part of the furniture for 5.5 years. Has been absolutely, as I mentioned, top professional, and that's a very hard thing to find in football. And losing someone with a hell of a lot of experience, and Bristol have lost quite a lot of experience these past couple of years. Last summer it was Matty James, Andy King, and this summer Naki Wells. So experience has been lost. We've not necessarily replaced experience for experience. There's now, if you look at it, there's not a lack of games within these group of players. Like, for crying out loud, someone like Jason Knight and Max Bird have played millions of games, and Max O'Leary, Cam Pring, they've played millions of games in the Championship and in the EFL in general. So there's no sort of lack of know-how or whatever, but there's now a lack of experience in terms of age, and Nahki Wells certainly filled that, and that was one of the roles that Manning mentioned loads of times last season in terms of experience and what he brings to the group. That's going to be lost. That's going to be really hard to replace, and whether or not that's the sort of recruitment model we're going to follow, well, it's not. So I highly doubt we're going to sign someone, maybe a 30, 32-year-old or whatever, and try and replace that experience. It doesn't feel like a very clever plan. And yeah, it's going to be really difficult to replace that side of things. And it's going to be really difficult to replace Nahki Wells on the pitch. Obviously, the system, style of play, everything will pivot a little bit and deviate, and will go in a little bit of a different direction than what we had last season to what we'll have next season. But still, that sort of, what you're getting from Nahki Wells, sort of that reserve option, that safe bet. You don't have that anymore, which is it's not the greatest position you want to be in. But still, this does now give us more opportunity for Bristol City to maybe sign a younger striker with maybe more of an upside in the future. And you see what sort of Millwall have done with Ivanovic, where they've gradually bedded him in, and they've replaced an older striker, and sort of Tom Bradshaw and stuff, and they've benefited from it. And Ivanovic now looks like a really top sellable asset. If he has a good season next season, well, Millwall will have a really, really top asset next season. So there are positives to this. That feels really harsh. There are some things that could be done that could be positive for Bristol City, but there are also some glaring negatives. And one of them is we weren't a team last season that scored many goals. And the fact that you've taken out someone who's scored 10 goals for you last season, and top scorer Naz Mehmeti scored in twos and stuff, and a little bit hot and cold and stuff like that. You want someone, I think, who is reliable, who knows the league, knows how to play, can fit like a glove. All that stuff, I think, will be so hard for Bristol City to replace, and I think will be really difficult for the recruitment staff for Struber to find a replacement for Nahki Wells. Hopefully, I've made my point, and hopefully, I've covered all bases. Let me know thoughts on Nahki Wells leaving Bristol City in the comment section down below. A really, really strange situation, because it's felt like it was going to happen, it will happen, and then it's kind of just gone. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the more time goes on, the closer we get to the contract actually expiring, the more you kind of have a feeling and an inkling that this might well not be happening. Naki Wells has left Bristol City, and it's a real shame. And it is a real shame, because I really like Naki over the past 12 months. Really enjoyed watching him play. I was a little bit skeptical. This is someone, again, who at the start of last season we signed 2 new strikers, the sort of new shiny toys, basically, the Sinclair Armstrong and Fally Mayulu, to replace Naki Wells. And when they were not living up to it and weren't, cutting it, guess who was there to replace them? And guess who was there to step in for Bristol City when Bristol City needed Nahki Wells? He was more than often there, and uh, that is such a hard skill to sort of have and inherit in football. So massive luck to Naki Wells wherever he goes, whatever he does. Will always be sort of a bit of a cult hero, lashing it, especially for this season. So many important goals. The one against West Brom to set the tone, Norwich and Watford. There have been loads of important goals that he scored, Naki, this season, and the two at Stoke to get us a point. He's scored loads of important goals, and yeah, I'm sure he'll find a very good club, and I'm sure he won't find it. He won't have many difficulties in finding a very good club either. Let me know thoughts on Naki Wells leaving Bristol City in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.